Hello to my entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs. Thank you for coming onto my channel where we help entrepreneurs to succeed and grow their business. You have many ideas in your head. We help you to pick one and be successful at it. No, I have been getting a lot of questions about this topic that we're going to be talking about today, which is the 7 biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make when you're growing, starting, or even growing your business, right? Now, before I go on, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because there are many, many persons who, could benefit from the information that we're sharing here and we don't want them to miss it. No, now the juicy stuff I have for you is this. Listen, I quit my 9 to 5 in December so I could focus on serving you full time. So I'm going to be dropping a lot of juice here. I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems that you could benefit from. And I don't want you to miss it. And I'm sure you don't want to miss it either. And you may have friends or family members who could benefit. So go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Now, I am going to start by asking you a question, right? When you think of purchasing an item or, buying a product or a service, do you think first of, what does the color look like? What does the logo look like? Does this company have a website? Or do you think of the value that they're giving to you and you make a decision that you want to purchase? I'm going to use an example. Have you ever bought food from like a cook shop, or your friend gave you something and you're like, oh my God, this tastes good, I want it? You don't ask if the person have food license. I've never asked if a restaurant have food license. I've never even walked into a restaurant and checked what they have on their wall. I've never asked any of those questions. Sometimes we love the food so much that when we see where the restaurant is, we're like, listen, I don't even want to see the kitchen. I just want the food. Because the value that you bring from what you offer is what people want. So you think about it. You are sitting down on your idea and you're thinking of, oh, you know what? But I don't have a website. I don't have the email marketing campaign. Like, you don't have all of that. And so you don't start. Or you spend the time working on all of that before you even develop your product, before you even test and see if people want it. So let's talk about mistake number 1. You believe that you need a website. And by the way, guys, this is in no particular order. You believe that you need a website, you need a logo, and you need to work on your colors before you start your business. No. Nobody is going to look at you and say, oh, do you have a website? Do you have a logo? What's your color scheme? They interact with your product or your service first. So first, you want to really think about, what is it that I'm offering? Is this valuable? Will people want it? Will people buy it? Will people enjoy it? So let's use the restaurant example. You decided that, you know what, you love to cook, and this is something that you're going to continue doing. So you probably try it on your friends and your family, or they like the food, they come back, they give you some feedback. Probably you want to change this, and you utilize that information to refine your product. Then you said, okay, you know what, let me test it on some persons outside. Let me try and see if I can get some sales. You start getting some sales and then you start getting some referral. What are you working on? You're working on your product. So stop thinking that you need a big fancy thing. And I can tell you from my personal example, if somebody had told me this, or if I got a coach and I was listening to them, I would not have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars building out a website, working on a logo, before I tested what I had to offer to the market. Because the minute I began to test and the minute I began to serve others and I see how people look a little confused, maybe I need to change my word, I need to change my language, I started to refine what I'm offering until I was at a place where I'm like, oh, okay, now this look like it making sense. As you grow, you're still refining, you still make changes, but don't think that you need to work on websites and all of those things first, right? So if that's what you're doing, pause and go and test your product. So I think I ran into the second one by talking about the first one, not testing your product. You need to test it. You need to ask people what they think. You need to ensure that you are getting persons in a room or wherever, or if you're offering a service, you call your friends and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to be running through with you what I'm doing. I want you to tell me what you think. You think it makes sense? You think people would want this? What you think I need to change? Do you know anybody who could benefit from this? Let me offer it to them for free. And then I get some feedback on it. So test your product. Don't just jump out there and feel that, oh, because I feel it's good for me, because your product is not about you. It's about those you're serving. So ensure that you're testing your product. And in testing your product, number 3 comes in where you don't conduct any market research. So depending on what size you are at, if you are a very large organization, what companies normally do is that they have a market research team. You don't have a team. You have friends, you have social media. You can go on social media and say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of offering this thing. Do you think this is something that some people would buy? Not you, but maybe somebody you know. And you go ahead and you offer that. Larger organizations may want to do a research, or what they do is that they bring in a focus group and they have persons sit down and they, if it's something that they're giving them, they test it. And if you notice these infomercials that come on TV, sometimes they're like, okay, we're looking for persons to test this thing on. They're coming out with a new face cream, they're coming out with a new vaccine, whatever it is, they're testing. So think about how you see large organizations going and operating. It's the same thing you want to do. I keep saying it, right? Market research. The other thing you want to do, or the other thing you want to ensure that you do not forget to do, is to see the resources that you would need in order to deliver your product or your service. It's the worst thing ever for somebody to promote on social media that they're offering something, and then you reach out and you're not able to meet the timelines that you promised. You're not able to do that because you never really check and see. First of all, do your market research to see if people would want it, kind of how many persons would want it. And then based on that information, now you're now able to decide how many persons, based on how many persons will want it, how much support will I need in order to deliver this product or service? Do I need human resource? Do I need a system? That is something that you want to have in place. And it doesn't have to be big and grand. Let's use a regular little supermarket or a corner shop as an example. Or if you're in New York City, you know, you buy a hot dog on the side of the road, that kind of thing. It doesn't matter what size you are at. It's the same methodology and the same thinking that you need to put in place. No, you decide that you're going to be asking persons around what they think about the food that you're selling. Every week you probably realize that, you know, your orders going up by 5. You're getting 5 new people, you're getting 10 new people. At some point in time, you need to now think of the other resource. Maybe I need to hire somebody. Maybe I need X. Maybe I need Y. You need to make sure that you're putting those things in place so that you're ensuring that you are satisfying your clients, because the next mistake that we make is that we don't have a sales strategy. You don't have a sales plan. You don't know how many persons you're going to be selling to or serving. You don't know how often. You don't know how much you're going to be generating. So you don't know how much you need to increase by. Like you just get up and doing. And when you operate like that, you get to a state of perfect confusion, because now more people want your product or your service. When persons you have like maybe one chance to win people over. And if you make one mistake, like when you lose a customer, it's harder to gain them back. It's harder to gain a customer that left because they weren't pleased than to gain a new customer. And that one person that may not be satisfied, they're going to leave and tell more people. I've had that experience, and I can tell you, I was still in my corporate job, and I got this client who wanted me to do some work for him. But in my corporate job, of course, it came first. So at the time when he wanted to meet, I wasn't able to meet. So I would either call, oh, I'm running a little bit late because I had a meeting, or I can't meet today. He was dissatisfied and he voiced it. He's like, listen, I know lots of people, and if you don't show up and show up the way that you should, I'm not going to refer people to you. Or I'm not going to, if somebody comes to me and say, hey, you know, I'm doing a work with this person, I may say, she's not so consistent with our timing, right? So you want to ensure that you're doing the work. And that is why I made the decision that I made, because no, more people wanted me and I needed to be there and be available. So I needed to now leave my corporate job and come into my entrepreneurship role full time. So you want to have a sales plan. Now, what your sales plan does, your sales plan, and I left this one out, but I think it fits in, because you kind of need to figure out in who you're targeting. You're not clear on who you're targeting. So, I mean, as I say, it's more than 7, but some of them kind of come into each other. So you don't have a sales plan. Now, what your sales plan clearly outlines for you is who your target market is, what you're going to be offering to them, and where you're going to be reaching them, and how many clients you're planning to get from it. So let's use an example. I am offering coaching services, and I know that I'm targeting female entrepreneurs between the ages of 30 to 60. I'm just using an example, 30 to 60. All right, who have an entrepreneurial idea, but they have no idea how it is that they're going to put it together so they can deliver it to the clients that they're targeting, as an example. What I then do is I'm like, okay, how many persons am I targeting? Okay, I'm targeting X amount of person. What is the price that I'm selling them at? This is the amount. Okay, so therefore I would have set a goal. So I know how many persons I need to get in order to meet that goal. I also think about where are they? Like where are these women that I'm targeting? Are they on social media? Are they at conferences? Like, do I need to go into organizations to meet them? And your sales plan clearly defines what your sales activities are going to be. I am going to be attending pop-up shops to sell my art. I am going to be going to hand out flyers at the traffic light. I am going to be hosting webinars on different streaming platforms. I'm going to be doing an IG live. I'm going to be posting on social media. I'm going to run a challenge. Your sales plan documents exactly what you are going to do to bring clients on. And you need to do that, because if you don't get the clients, your websites and all of those things, it don't matter, because your clients first want to know that you're offering something to them that's going to add value to their lives, right? The next thing is we don't ask for feedback. And that's one example I use in terms of you starting cooking and serving persons is a perfect example, right? Whenever it is that you hand someone a plate of your meal that you prepared, you ask for feedback. How does it taste? If you have a restaurant, one of the ways you can get feedback when the dishes come back to the kitchen, are they still full? You know, what is it that people are leaving on the plate? You can also send out surveys. That's also another way. People don't like completing surveys. So if you can get real-time information, and there are different unique ways in which you can do it, do that as well. And the other thing, which is the seventh thing, is you need to build a community and you need to build partnership. There's nothing new under the sun. And if you find somebody who has done what you're thinking of doing before, I would encourage you to get into their community so you can learn from them. When you have community, you go faster. And also not just to learn from them, but go in groups, whether Facebook group, whatever it is, your jam is, go in those groups where your potential clients are and talk to them, ask questions. And when you ask questions and you hear what they have to say, you're like, maybe this is something that I can consider. So we're going to recap the 7 mistakes that entrepreneurs make when starting a business. You believe you need a logo, a website, or work on your brand colors before anything else. You do not test your product. You don't conduct a market research. You don't figure out the resources that you're going to need in order to deliver your product or your service to the market. You don't have a sales plan. You don't seek feedback, and you don't have a community that can help you to grow. So I hope this helped you. Go ahead and share this with somebody who is thinking of starting a business. As I said, this list is extensive. If you're watching the replay of this video and you have others, because there are many others, go ahead and type it below so persons can see what else you probably have done or lessons that you have learned. I've learned a lot, and I think I may need to do a whole week series or maybe a live on this. Some of the mistakes that we have made, and even bring others into the conversation so they can also share their biggest mistake. So like, share, and subscribe, and looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye.